Breaking news! Things are heating up behind the scenes with the Buffalo Bills. The vibe is hotter than a last-second touchdown. But before we dive in, smash that like button if you believe the Bills have what it takes to charge into the next Super Bowl. For real. I believe with all my heart. If you're riding the hype too, type it out loud and proud. Go Bills! I believe! What if I told you the Buffalo Bills could walk away from this year's draft with one of the best corners in the class, a freak defensive tackle who could wreak havoc next to Ed Oliver, and a wide receiver who's already being compared to a former Bills All-Pro? Yeah, it sounds like a fantasy, but this isn't your typical mock draft scenario. This is a wish list grounded in real scouting reports, combined stats, and insider projections. And the possibilities at pick 30 are more intriguing than ever. Bills Mafia, you're going to want to hear every second of this breakdown because one of these names could end up being the next face of Buffalo football. Let's start with the most versatile cornerback on the board, Trey Amos out of Ole Mississippi. This kid isn't just a draft riser, he's a full-on missile with ball-hawking instincts and elite athletic traits that scream day one starter. Amos stands at a legitimate 6 feet 1 inch, and while his vertical may not blow you away, his 4.44 40-yard dash and freakish broad jump make him a coverage nightmare for opposing offenses. He allowed just 2 touchdowns in coverage all season and held quarterbacks to a QB rating of 54.5. Oh, and how about 16 pass breakups? That's not just solid, it's elite. But what makes Trey Amos more than just a combined warrior is how his game translates to Buffalo's scheme. The Bills run a ton of zone, and Amos thrives in it. He's constantly pestering receivers, breaking up passes, and sticking like glue in man or zone. NFL draft expert Dane Brugler, someone whose word holds weight this time of year, called him a professional pesterer with the ability to phase up receivers from all alignments. That's the kind of polish that coaches drool over. His pro comp? None other than his former Alabama teammate Terrion Arnold, who just had a standout rookie season with the Lions. If Amos is still sitting there at 30, don't even think twice. He fits the CB2 need to perfection. Now, let's talk chaos. Let's talk Walter Nolan. This is the kind of physical freak you rarely find at defensive tackle. Nolan's resume is heavy, consensus All-American, first-team All-SEC, and the leader in tackles for loss on a formidable Ole Miss defense. He's put up 35 pressures and 6.5 sacks from the interior. That's interior pressure we haven't seen in Buffalo in years. After transferring from Texas A&M, Nolan became an even bigger disruptor, but he's not without his question marks. Some scouts have raised concerns about his motor. He can take plays off, and there are whispers of locker room concerns. But when he's locked in, he's a force of nature. Dane Brugler summed it up best. Nolan flashes big-time disruption, with an initial burst and fast, physical hands that regularly affect backfield action. His comp? Milton Williams, who just cashed in during free agency. Think about it, lining Nolan up next to Ed Oliver creates a nightmare scenario for offensive lines and gives Buffalo back that dominant front that helped them rank among the league's best pass rushes just a season ago. If you want upside, Nolan brings it in buckets. But wait, the Bills' defensive tackle dreams don't stop there. Enter Kenneth Grant, arguably the most frequently mocked name to Buffalo at pick 30. It's become almost cliche at this point, but it's easy to see why. Grant is a straight-up wall in the run game. At over 300 pounds, he ran a 5.140 and posted a mind-boggling 31-inch vertical. That's not just strong, that's explosive. He had 22 run stops last year and has been a cornerstone for a Michigan defense that just keeps churning out NFL talent. Brugler said Grant plays big in a big man's game and projects as an early down NFL starter with 3-down upside. If the Bills want to stop the run, and let's be honest, they've struggled with it for years, then Kenneth Grant is the kind of pick that brings instant value. Picture him eating blocks on early downs, allowing the edges to pin their ears back and rush the passer. Even if he's not an immediate third down guy, he's a game changer in the trenches, and Buffalo hasn't had a player like that since the days of prime Kyle Williams. Speaking of Michigan, let's stay in Ann Arbor and talk about one of the most polarizing cornerbacks in this class, Will Johnson. Projected to go around pick 13 and linked to teams like the Miami Dolphins, Johnson is another name that might not fall to 30. But if he does, the Bills have to sprint to the podium. 2 pick-sixes in just 6 games last year. Sure, there are some injury concerns and he didn't participate in the 40-yard dash, but let's not get caught up in measurables when the tape is this good. Johnson is a turnover machine. Brugler called him more good than great in terms of twitch and speed, but praised his IQ, eyes, and footwork, traits that often matter more than raw speed at the next level. He projects as a day one outside cornerback in the NFL. Buffalo desperately needs that after letting Dane Jackson walk and showing no interest in bringing back Rasul Douglas. The cornerback depth is paper thin, and Johnson could be the guy to lock down the other side opposite Christian Benford. He's smart, productive, and just flat out makes plays. That's exactly what Buffalo needs in a high-pressure AFC East. But hey, we couldn't wrap this up without throwing in a wide receiver. And what if I told you there's a guy being compared to a former Bills All-Pro? Say hello to Matthew Golden. His route running is crisp, his hands are sure, and his versatility is unmatched. After transferring from Houston to Texas, he had a breakout season and proved he could thrive in more than just an air raid offense. He's lined up all over the field, slot, outside, backfield motion. You name it, he's done it. Brebler raved. Golden shows a plan as a route runner, with very natural ball skills to track, frame, and finish. That's the kind of polish that translates on day one. And let's be real, Buffalo needs a WR1. Right now, Khalil Shakir leads the team in salary among receivers at $15 million a year, and while Kean Coleman could take a leap in year 2, Golden gives Josh Allen a real, reliable weapon to build around. Golden's currently mocked around pick 16, so it might take a move up to grab him, but wouldn't it be worth it for someone who could instantly slot in as your top target? He's explosive, smart, and doesn't drop the football. Bills Mafia, that's the kind of guy you build an offense around. So here we are, 5 names: Trey Amos, Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson, and Matthew Golden. Any one of them could be a game changer for the Buffalo Bills. And that's what makes this draft so electric. The options are real. The talent is there. And at pick 30, Brendan Beane has a golden opportunity to bring in a franchise cornerstone. Now, I want to hear from you, Bills Mafia. Who's your dream target at pick 30? Are you all in on shoring up the secondary with someone like Amos or Johnson? Would you rather build a wall in the trenches with Grant or Nolan? Or is Golden the kind of weapon you think Josh Allen absolutely needs? Drop your answers in the comments and let's get the conversation going. This draft could define the next chapter in Bills football. Don't miss it, and don't think for a second that these names are just long shots or pie-in-the-sky prospects. These are legitimate targets, and if history has taught us anything, it's that chaos reigns supreme on draft night. Every year, top 15 guys fall to the back of the first round. Every year, somebody slips because of medical flags, positional value, or just pure randomness. And when that happens, it's the smart, aggressive teams, the ones that trust their scouting departments and pull the trigger, who end up stealing franchise-altering players at bargain spots. This is the exact kind of scenario where the Buffalo Bills have to be ready to pounce. Let's circle back to the potential of stacking Kenneth Grant next to Ed Oliver. If you're a defensive coordinator like Sean McDermott, who thrives on rotational fronts and gap discipline aggression, what's not to love? You get a mountain in the middle who can play early downs, allowing you to move DaQuan Jones into a situational role, keeping him fresh. Add in the fact that Grant is coming from Michigan, a program that breeds NFL readiness, and the transition to pro-level competition feels way less daunting. This guy has been bullying Big Ten offensive linemen for 2 straight years. He's not raw. He's ready. Now let's jump back to Trey Amos, because if you think about what Buffalo's secondary looked like in the back half of last season, riddled with injuries, lacking depth, getting picked apart by elite quarterbacks, you know this